Hello and welcome to Nikolai's genetics lessons, and today I have prepared two easy questions for you, which both relate to Ramachandran plot analysis. And here is an example of this plot, which describes the relationship between angles, which we call psi and phi angles, in amino acids and the secondary structures that they can make. For example, beta pleated sheet or alpha helixes, right-handed, left-handed, and so on. So here's the first question. The number of phi and psi angles in an isolated amino acid, not in polypeptide chain, is, and you have to choose one of these answers. Now take a look at this picture, and we can see here amino acid in the center. This is central alpha carbon. This is hydrogen group, R group, and here is the amino group, carboxylic group, and this amino group make a peptide bond with amino acid number 1. So this alpha carbon and this carboxylic group doesn't belong to this amino acid, it belongs to the amino acid number 1. And for example, here this amino group doesn't belong to this amino acid, but belong to the amino acid number 3 in the polypeptide chain. You have to understand, when we talk about certain angles which these planes can make in Ramachandran plot, for example, these angles of the phi and psi only make sense when we are talking about these planes. And if we, for example, would analyze single amino acid, so we are not going to see this group and this group here, there is no point to talk about these angles, because these angles only analyzing these planes, which are made by these peptide bonds. Sometimes you can see Ramachandran plot for glycine, tryptophan, single amino acid, but you have to understand that such amino acid which analyzed have to be in polypeptide chain, so have to be a part of the polypeptide chain, and if not a part of the polypeptide chain, it doesn't make sense to say about angles of this plane. So the correct answer is going to be none. We cannot analyze angles when we don't have planes and when amino acid is single and not a part of the polypeptide chain. The second question is also easy, but also easy to make a mistake here. So take a look. The number of atoms held in geometric plane by peptide bond is, and many of you know that peptide bond is between carbon of the carboxylic group of one amino acid and nitrogen of the other amino acid. So this is peptide bond, and it's also shown here as a peptide bond. In about 50% of the pictures on the internet, you will find that peptide bond is between these two atoms. But in other 50% of the pictures on the internet, peptide bond would be shown like this. So this is also correct, and this is also correct, but this is correct from the point of view of groups involved in the peptide bond, and this is correct answer from the point of view of atoms involved in peptide bond. But you also have to understand that between carbon and nitrogen, between this carboxylic group and this amino group, is partially double bond. So this is partially also double bond, and there is no rotation here. And the only rotation possible between central alpha carbon and amino group, central alpha carbon and carboxylic group. So all these atoms in this plane are going to rotate together. So how many atoms in a plane? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be our answer. In one plane there are 6 atoms. Answer D. And this is all for today. Subscribe and see you in the next video. Goodbye.